with for their first pick?
So for me, the champions that are standing out would be probably Azir and Nico. I feel like I might be missing some, but those are like pretty strong champs here. As for win cons for W, what I want to see them draft, I would like to see Karis on a very high agency champion. This could honestly do it. This was actually the first win con I called on before the series started, and probably never mind to that was gonna be that you can pick some kind of global pressure, kind of drag AL around the map. But honestly, the more that I did think about it, and the more I'm doing results-based analysis right now, I'm starting to think that that's AL's wheelhouse. With low-key, they invented. If I'm starting to think about the internationals last year, they didn't invent it, but they almost perfected it. Was kind of toying with the enemies around the map, constantly. I specifically remember it was 2025, and I had this perspective of AL, which was that even when they're down numbers, they're willing to take fights. They're so confident in each other's ability to play off of one another that it's actually a really important skill in League of Legends. Like sometimes you'll have mismatch of numbers, right? Like you'll have maybe a 3v4 in a certain area of the map, but you honestly want to fight with the shorthanded numbers because it forces the enemies to expend all of their cooldowns to fight you. And if you're better at clicking, then you can capitalize on that. So anyway, I just think AL is really good at playing around those numbers, and that's why globals is kind of a thing that benefits AL, whether it's on your team or on theirs. So if anything, picking it could have prevented that. But the point I was going to say, I want to see Karis on Azir or Akali, one of those two champions. I mean, they did just pick Ryze, so you could opt into one of the vacuum counters, which would be a Nivea or Cassiopeia, but please pick Azir or Akali, man. These are Karis' best champions. I know this guy inside and out, and if he's on one of those champions, can win, Mazel. Can win.
Check mark. You got the Azir. What's a first pick Nami for W? It's interesting nonetheless, but we'll see what they end up going for the AD side of things in that matchup. It is going to be against the Corki for Hope. Right now, AL have all the comfort, it feels like, right? Their Ryze and their Corki, some of the most pick they've had this split itself. I would be very happy with this pick with the Kael Nico, because he is a dastardly Nico and was one of the ones that was kind of bringing it to the forefront when it first came back to the meta as well here in the LPL. So really, really liking this first three from AL. I can see some of the synergies to some extent for WE, but I really want to see them round it out strong in the final two picks.
Yeah, so I agree. It's very important to round it out strong with WE's comp here, but I actually really like what we're seeing from the first three picks of W. These are all S-tier champions in the meta right now, all three of these. I actually had forgotten that Nami was even available. I was looking at the ban phase because the bot lane meta right now, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty much just Seraphine, Karma, Nico, Bard, and Nami. So you pretty much want to have
too sometimes.
Yeah, and Lulu if you're having the pairings right with Yunara or etc. But these ranged characters are all extremely powerful, Nami being one of the most prominent ones. So her being available is really nice. There's a lot of effective pairings, and honestly, Lucian is one of the lesser picked ones nowadays. You're seeing a lot of Corki with Nami. You can see honestly really any champion with Nami because she just has such good access to healing, sustain, and her crowd control is nothing to scoff at. If you can chuck a tidal wave down a corridor or a choke, or as a layering of crowd control, follow that up with a bubble, that's over 2 seconds of crowd control duration, which coming from an enchanter, which is, and it can even be AoE. Like you can have like multiple people somehow sharing one bubble, so that's obviously not very comfortable. So yeah, I'm telling you, anyway, this Nami champ is good, the Xin Zhao champ is good, this Azir champ is great, and I might be a bit biased on that last point. But
I see that. So in our second phase of bans, we did end up seeing full AD focus from AL. We saw the Yorick comfort ban taken away and the Nocturne from WE. Jace was the pick for AL, so we're saving that counter pick for Tarzan, which I really appreciate for AL. But now WE, again, this is their crucial moment. How are you tying this comp together through these last two picks?
I really like the Jace, by the way, because the Yorick is the most picked counter into the Jace nowadays, and with WE banning that away themselves, it means that it allows Flandre to opt into that blind pick, and it even has a semblance of flexibility. You can send the Jace into the jungle if you absolutely want to. It's not bad at all, by the way. It's honestly quite criminally underutilized as a flex, I would say. The jungle prominence is really good. It dominates solo queue pretty hard, and it doesn't really have many weaknesses. So I would say that I wouldn't be that surprised if they opt into a counter pick, but this is one of those Riftbound cards that we wanted to see.
It is indeed. I'm also just upset with WE that they didn't pick Jhin on 4, even though they had back-to-back picks. That's just me. Maybe I'm a little mad. It's okay.
Yeah, come on, man. Why not? Like,
it was right there. It was right there, Foles. The Nefiri, though, terrifying. This has been one of the most lethal picks in the hands of Tarzan, and I really, really am interested to see, because, again, this was one of the only picks that he had won on so far this split, and that was against Weibo. But into a comp like this, it can be a little bit hard to find your targets. So really looking at him with a lot of the weight on his shoulder earlier on into this game.
So I would say, because of course I'm playing WE's advocate here, I really want to see them take a game into the the victory column. And I'm looking at their team comp here, and I would say that these are all, of course, really strong champions. You're probably able to get Prio in mid, you know, and I'm trying to remember who was the bot lane even for AL just there. I know that WE has the Jhin Nami, but it's Nico Corki. Okay, so I think in that case you're having a decent range advantage as WE in the bot lane as well. So here's the thing, you've got some really strong champions, but this comp doesn't really have an easy engage tool. Okay, the best thing you've really got is a Azir shuffle, which is extremely unreliable if the enemy has their flashes up, and you've got a Nami tidal wave. So the only real way to play this comp, IMO, is you want to get to the objectives early so you can play with kind of a phalanx, you know, where you just control the space and have a really strong team fight. But if you have to engage, you're
Jackets coming off. That means WE are locking in for this game number 2. AL versus WE. Game 2 kicking off now. Oh, I saw the 957 Mystic CA card there. Beautifully done. That's the legends that you need to summon. That's the spirits that you need to bring to the table. That 957 roster was insane. Also the last time this team, organization at least, went internationally, but that's neither here nor there. We're looking in at this game number 2 of the series, and I don't know if it's really About's birthday. There was a sign that said happy birthday About. If it is his birthday, happy birthday. I'm sorry you're playing Jhin. I typically am not like the biggest knower, and I'm a very, very big Jhin stan. I'm not, maybe the believer is the right word, but between the Nami and Jhin, weird combo, but it can work. We'll see if they can get off the ground going here, but it will be opposite sides going for the junglers.
I mean, this champ
Tarzan.
It's not a gank. It's just the invade.
He's going to the enemy.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too afraid as the bot lane here, because it's just inferior. But trading is looking a bit scary here.
Oh, he hit the deadly flares. That's all that matters.
Oh, this is more than just a trade.
Oh, wow. Out and Arha come up clutch in the 2v2. Okay. Another first blood for WE.
Not expecting that. So the only thing I'm concerned about now is WE's awareness of Tarzan's pathing right now. I think he's honestly just gonna steal the Gromp and dip. I don't even think he's gonna gank bot here. Does he even reveal? Nope, I think he's unseen that whole time. So I still don't think Monki realizes that his Gromp is gone.
Dude, that's
honestly,
annoying.
It's a bit frustrating, but like it doesn't really matter that much because Tarzan's clear is a bit scuffed now as well. I'm curious to see how Monki responds to this information, because how he can kind of process what Tarzan just did, and if anything, it's really hard to access Tarzan's top side as Xin Zhao here. So ideally, you can at least get a double grab. You just want to make sure you get 28 CS here. You really want to get the 6 camps. That's all. That's very important.
He's like, oh wait, there's a dog. Wait, no, that could be Kael. The thing is Monki at that point is just like, really, man, really, like, really. When did you find time? But we'll see if that comes back to bite him
no,
at all.
Mazel.
He was
He's
trying to
doing
go
the
for his
Monki
own
thing.
invade. Yeah.
Okay, so I always see Monki do this where he kind of misreads the fog of war or like what's actually going on with it. Sometimes he's just standing on random parts of the map that just make no sense. You saw him standing there at the enemy's red looking for it. And unfortunately, the red was not up, Mr. Monki. So the king of the jungle is going to get the last laugh on this clear. And the cheese is going to be successful. It's only going to net him a 1-camp lead, but
Dude,
that's the kind of
Tarzan
stuff
is
that
being
adds
a
up.
menace right now. He just didn't care
No
about his
way.
blue. He's going for the Krugs here. He is spotted, so they will immediately collapse on this. I think he realizes what's going on. The ward comes out. He's going to jump away. He might look to contest this,
Yeah,
though.
he wants
But
that
Tarzan is
50-50.
just a menace this game so far. Like, he is taking full control of what Monki wants to do, and he's going to take the fight here
Monki.
as well. He's going to be able to get away with that hound and be able to get a little bit of knockback from Q to stop the damage coming through. Tarzan's going to have to run away now. Flandre also a little bit worse for wear. The Dark and Daggers do come through, but they do go a little bit wide. He'll be able to pick up a couple of the little Kruggies on the way out, but he still hasn't taken his blue buff yet.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is an absolutely devious menace. There's not many other ways to put it. But, you know, Cube did lose his flash, but hey, Monki gets the Krug, and that is honestly really satisfying. Like, when you win those 50-50s against the enemy jungle, especially when they're the ones cheesing you, it's kind of like a, get the heck out of here, you bloke. Don't come near my enemy jungle ever again. So that's really nice that Monki's able to secure that. And if anything, I think Flandre lost more XP than Cube did there. You know, Flandre was 5-4 there, but the wave state was more advantageous for Cube. So, I mean, these are the kind of things that can add up. The only thing that I don't like to see here is that Flandre has this much of a gold lead because look, as the observers are highlighting, he got 2 plates before minute 5, Mazel. Before minute 5.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough dude. My new question is, will Tarzan ever take blue? Dragon is up, and W does have a little bit of prio coming towards them now with the redeploys coming through. It does look like Monki's going up towards his top side of the map, so I think Dragon is actually going to sit by the wayside for the time being, and those early objective focuses won't necessarily be there until potentially the Grubbies come up, which will be an extremely important fight if they do want to contest over it. A control ward will be cleared out as Monki has been spotted out. At least a little bit of information given over to AL, and Tarzan will finally take his blue. And that's the next big question is level 6s are aplenty or very close for a majority of members. Monki a little bit behind on the XP, but once we get to this level 6 mark, is there differences or changes in the potential for both teams in these next fights?
Yeah, I mean, the most pivotal level 6 player would be Karis, because especially after burning the ghost out of Shanks there, he's definitely quite vulnerable to the good old-fashioned swoop, the good old-fashioned shuffle. But that's gonna definitely take it's gonna have to definitely take some coordination because, you know, of course Shanks could just flash it, and it could be really awkward sometimes going for the shuffle. Enemy flashes it. It seems decent, right? Like your cooldown is shorter, but your cooldown is more important, low-key. Like if you trade Emperor's Divide for enemy flash, they're almost certainly gonna get the Drake off of that.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna start it.
Sure.
I like that Monki's trying to get this wave cleared as quickly as possible. He's given a little bit of time over, and information had been handed down, so Tarzan will back away from the dragon. Monki's gonna start it up. We gotta take a really close look at who can move first from both sides. We are gonna have a collapse here, Foles.
Okay, so they're supposed to be able to start this. This is a good start, but because it's WE versus AL, I'm extremely nervous right now.
That nervousness fool you. Tarzan decides, I'm not going to toss the game on a first Dragon Smite fight. I'm going to back away, let AL play a little bit more reserved, and WE will get their first dragon.
Hey, let's go first blood, first objective. This is really good. We've got a huge gold lead in the bot lane. You see the CS discrepancy about 25 for this Jin Nami. Okay, Mazel, they've got themselves a really fighting chance here in this game too. I'm not sure how they're gonna keep this up, but so far so good.
So far, so good. And sometimes that's all you can ask for, honestly.
Right.
The grubs are up now. See teams reassign as we do see both supports kind of getting on that roam style already. A little bit of vision clearing by Arha, which will be really important as the fight is going to be kicking off here. Really waiting on the setup from AL as they were a little bit, apprehensive of taking that dragon fight, which I agree maybe was a little bit of a weird entrance. Like you said, WWE had the right to start that one up, but it looks like they're not going to shy away from their aggressive ways and go try and catch Monki in the jungle ahead of a fight. Oh,
Yeah,
Monkey, what
up.
are you doing in the jungle, brother? As Pop Blossom comes through, he might have just sacrificed his life. No, the bubble from Arha changes the fight, and Karis comes in with the sweep of the leg. As that's the Realm Warp coming through, they should be able to escape. That's a big pick onto Tarzan. It will be traded back, though, 1-for-1.
Oh, I can't believe that Tarzan actually fell there. It looked like Monki was completely one-shot, but Nami offering a lot of healing there.
Don't do my boy Jin like this. Please, observers, go away.
Walk it off, buddy. Walk it off.
He can't do anything.
He's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay, Doctor. But that was a little too close from about there. He's still got his sums, so he's not actually in threat of dying, but you don't want to actually expend those down there. I was thinking how he was supposed to do better, but here we go. Monki not wanting to give up the Raptor, but this is extremely bold clicks here. Not only contesting the Raptor, but completely dashing straight onto Tarzan. It makes you wonder, perhaps this is a bait. He knows just how much healing Arha can offer him. He knows how much CC they have with the Emperor's Divide, with the Tidal Wave. So I'm thinking it's a half bait, half Monki being Monki.
Cube getting ran down by the dog. That hot dog is hungry, and he's going to make mincemeat out of Cube as Shanks will end up picking up the kill. There's a little bit of redemption. The gold lead going in favor of AL. Yeah, that bubble in that play was so clutch there from Arha. Absolutely incredible. But we will see now that AL take full control of the topside river and start up the grubs.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason in my head, what I was going to say before the previous replay was that I felt like the game state was really chill for WE because, the inventories are fine. You've already got the first Drake. You've got some gold leads. And I thought that what they could do is have a pretty even 4v4, look in the top side. All the champs have similar power levels. And then what you could do was make use of About's kind of, range advantage and his ability to clear the waves pretty fast with his Q. I was thinking there's a timeline where you can play 4v4 into that grub pit and then make use of the curtain call to make it a 5v4, but unfortunately neither of those things happened. The 4v4 looked pretty ugly, and then the 1v1 between Hope and About looked pretty ugly as well. Let's see how they actually reach up here. Shanks just ghosting straight on top of him. And they've got a lot of crowd control. Once they're able to catch up to you, they even got a bunch of damage as well within the Fury. The lower you are, the more that Q2 is going to do, and you're not able to quite survive that as Cube. You lose the grubs off the back of that. It does, not feel great, but you got to be pretty content about the other facts of the game. You did get that first blood. You got pretty big gold on About here. He's probably going to complete his quest at a pretty solid pace. And you've got the first Drake. Drake's Mazel are so OP, man.
I'm so here for you saying that a lead on Jin matters. Let's go, my goat. That's right. That propaganda needs to keep on going. All right, let's go. No, we will see if About can make the difference here. I will say we do have our first items coming up for a majority of members, especially on the side of WE. So right now, they're actually living on a power spike over a lot of AL. Yes, you do have the hubris and a couple items completed for key members from AL, but we talked a little bit about what the ults do to change the chemistry of these fights. Does first item really influence either side well or badly?
Yeah, I would definitely say that it could have there. You had 3 completed items in Karis about Arha on the boss side, versus Shanks, Hope, Kael not having theirs. Shanks picks up the Roa, but frankly, that's not much stronger than the components anyway. You don't actually get many stats from turning the Catalyst and the Blasting Wand into the Roa. It only comes over the passive, and that's a pick.
Oh, Hope flashing to the side will not escape the ire of Jin as the third shot will come through from About. He'll get himself a birthday present if it's his birthday. That's a double Pop Blossom now, and there's going to be the Hound's Pursuit utilized by Tarzan. They can't really follow it up because of the Crescent Guard, and Kael has to flash away from the rest of the team.
That is extremely favorable sequence for WE because in theory, you're supposed to just lose that Drake there and be quite sad about it. But instead, you don't just get Hope, you get him, and you get his summoner spells. And you know what else? You kill him before he can afford Trinity Force, which is so awkward as the Quirky here. You gotta redeploy onto the map, no Trinity Force, no bot lane quest complete, which is really probably gonna help you afford it because it gives you 300 gold. And so now you're just this really weak Quirky who has to go bot, farm the wave, and then recall again. And so with no summoners now. So this is really nice for WE. They're able to find something there. Flandre even opened bot as Jace to try and support that play and gave Cube a chance to catch up a little bit here.
Ooh, that's the flash out of Flandre as well. Scared of the knockback, scared of the tankiness of Cube. As you do see a lot of the damage done to the turret, the observers showing the differences between the top lane turret health bars. Yeah, about a 1.5k lead for about, it's been a quintessential part to some of their best moments for W, even though there hasn't been a lot, has been playing around this bot lane. And you love to see about in a position of power, but got to keep driving that one home because some of the scaling on AL will come into effect as time goes on in this game.
Well, I'll say you this, that what Karis just did right there, if you ever see me playing Azir in solo queue, I'm probably doing the exact same thing. Just you can shadow into your laner and you can double up, and then with the both of you there, you could just force the tower. And guess what?
Might have overextended though.
He's got a tower of his own though.
He's got the Sun Disc. We'll see if they want to commit fully. Hound's Pursuit is available there. They won't actually commit to the bit here. Turret's going to last for a little bit longer. That Rift Herald will be spawning now as we set up for this potential team fight. WE are full frontal aggression right now, and it's working out for them.
It absolutely is. We do see a really nice TP spot. He's got the quest complete as well. Jay's coming in with the big shield.
Flandre with the flank, big shock blast coming through as well. You're looking for the engage from Kael. Pop Blossom will be available, and all 5 members are in this choke point. He's going to get a twofer. That is the Herald going over to WE, and Kael will just be taken down. I mean, Tarzan's not even in the fight. Tarzan took forever to get in there, and now you got the big curtain call coming through to lower the health bar of Flandre. Tarzan, he's feeling angsty. He wants to go for it, but that's going to be all 5 members of WE making it out scot-free.
And you know what else? Riot is extremely generous about teams that are able to secure the Rift Herald, because not only do you get this really wonderful, beast that you can now drive, but you get the recalls as well.
Oh no, he has the Hound's Pursuit. Oh, but he might get triple knocked up there. It doesn't matter. The bleeds are enough, and Tarzan claims his prize. A latent pick by AL.
Yeah, you see that one going through the game as well. You see Monki getting pretty frustrated there in the player camps. He's definitely not expecting that one, but yeah, as
Tarzan not go in.
It's chill. It's kind of hard to go in. The thing with Nefiri into Azir is that the W right for Nefiri, the invulnerability frame, is able to go through the Azir ult, right? But the thing is, you can't cast W while you're dashing with your ult. So if Tarzan is to ult in, you can almost always get a guaranteed cancel. But meanwhile,
Realm Warp play straight onto the carry member. That's the big lead for WE, taken out immediately in the fight. Looks like they're going to get engaged on though. Big Karis engaged with the Shurima Shuffle. The Pop Blossom's going to try to play defensively. They were able to get out so far. Wind does not become lightning. Tidal Wave comes through. Shanks going to get a lockdown. Rift Herald's going to come through for WE. They're going to try to take down this mid lane turret. AL make it out by the skin of their teeth. WE are not waiting. Shanks found himself on the other side of the play. He's got no real escape here. He's got flash. He's got a blast cone, but that's about it.
Yeah, he's running for the hills right now. He's definitely looking to flash somewhere if he possibly can. Does he not even have to? Okay, we take those. We take those.
Okay. I don't know how he got there, but that's a heck of a bush camp. Hide in bush for real, but it's not faker. Incredible stuff to escape there from AL. But I gotta say, worrying signs for WE. They were about 1,000 gold up. That 15-minute mark came and went, and AL did not have a lead. That 100% win rate is in question, but they've lost that lead now. It's a dead even game.
let's see how this started off. They're able to just completely get this pick onto a bout. And I'm not really sure how. It's just a realm warp, you know? You think that the space you're clicking into is kind of yours. It's safe. There's not really any enemies here. Well, guess what? Rise is able to defy that logic. And we got every time after replay, there's a fight, Mazel.
Tarzan, bro. Tarzan. What, you going a little early there, buddy. Like, literally, his entire team is going towards mid lane, and he goes into the pit. I like it. Will not get anything for it, and that'll be a second dragon for WE on their way to an Infernal Soul. Very important prio on that dragon objective now moving forward.
Yeah, that's really nice to pick up as WE. That's way more than you'd actually expect. They're doing really well for themselves in this game too. And honestly, as Tarzan, I don't mind it to just go into the pit, and it looks pretty awkward, but I believe he had no wards. Actually, I lied because he has a controller right now, so I think he just went in for fun, to be honest. You know, Neferi has the E, has the W, you can't really die there.
You gotta make him guess, you know, make him make decisions.
But unironically, it's actually pretty good to just stress your opponents out whenever you can, you know? Just give them a little cortisol proc from time to time. Just make sure that, you know, they're not getting to do things the easy way, you know?
I'm just going to say I'm disappointed in About. About's a great player. He's awesome. He went with the mosquito build.
It's full mosquito build too.
Dude, second item, i.e. when you're ahead, is the move, but he decided he cannot get into range to do these autos, and he will take the safe way out. That might be a detriment to the entire team comp moving forward. We'll have to check back in on that one as time goes on. Still a decent advantage for him individually, but AL has taken the holistic gold lead now by just a smidgen. And they, again, the biggest thing I want to emphasize, have a lot of scaling on there. Yes, there's good scaling on the side of WE, but AL were the ones in the back seat for the majority of the early game here, and now they're starting to come into their own with second items being completed for multiple members on the Rift right now, full.
I'm honestly just really glad that we get to watch this game state because it's really close, and that means that we're actually seeing a fighting, you know, really well-played game from WE, but we're going to see another fight.
Hold from Monki. He's going to get caught a little bit. Hope does have to back away. Huge. All out comes through, and Tarzan just gets fully 100-0 during lockdown.
Keep going.
That's going to be the curtain call coming through. Get a little bit slows on Flandre. Flandre's going to flash. Karis waiting for his Shurima shuffle on the other side. Shanks does have a bit of a flank. Going to go for a little pop onto Arha and run away with his speed as he did pop Ghost. But it's WE that find an answer again.
Yeah, WE, as I was saying, is doing really well for themselves in this game, and I just really am glad to see it because I feel like this team is way better than 0-9. It's not like they're that bad at all. I was watching them in Split 1 when their opponents were more, I guess, their caliber, and they were doing really pretty decent. But ever since they've been in this group Ascend, things have just been so tough for them. So it's nice to see that they're at least able to kind of punch up a little bit here and, you know, show that they can, you know, find themselves in a winning game state against some of these Titans. And this play right here, I think a lot of this is praise to Cube. I don't know exactly what he did, but he crowd controlled the living nightmare out of Tarzan right here.
You didn't get to play the game, bro.
Yeah. Keep in mind, Neferi literally has some of the most insane juggling tools in the game. With W, with E, with R, with you know, all this movement speed, with the dogs being able to block spells for you. But you know, if you're able to get on top of him and crowd control him like that, that's a really beautiful pick to find yourself. You even get some sums out. You got Flandre's Flash, you got Shanks' Ghost, and you got every single summoner on the side of WE still available. Yeah. So,
and I'm just gonna say, Tarzan's forever a GOAT in my book. I'll give him that. There's been some weird positioning in this game so far, like very, very strange. And so I'm very curious at how he kind of rights that ship moving forward, because if he continues to do that, this game might just get a little bit too out in front of him to be impactful. As they're going to try to take down Cube. This is ahead of the Dragon fight, so this would be a big pick. The TP comes through, the Hound Pursuit is unleashed, and the Hounds come a-barking nonetheless. Cube will slowly but surely be dragged down with them as he does a decent job to fight back, but Tarzan still gets the kill in the end.
Yep, Cube dying here 5 seconds before the Drake spawns will he spawn. So he's gonna have his teleports and he's gonna be able to arrive just on time, but that's gonna complicate the setup here. Unfortunately, he lost his flash as well, and I must credit Tarzan for the way he played that. Really beautiful usage of the W, but Flandre out of position.
little bit of a pick potential. He's just standing still. Okay, I guess he knew he was dead.
Flash.
That's
WE.
kind of weird.
This is something.
This is something. Might be able to take down Kael. Tidal wave coming through. AL gonna have
We're
to
getting
burn
all the
another one.
sums out today.
It's gonna be a lot of
Let's
flashes,
go.
and the dragon is coming up, so that would be soul point on an infernal soul for WE. Looks like that's what they want to prioritize. Double TP
No
coming in the
way.
mid lane from Karis and Cube.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I'm not gonna say they're doing it, but they're doing it. It's winnable, man. We got a 2.3k gold lead on our 80 carry right now. He's almost done being a mosquito once he gets that third item. And gosh, we just got some flashes out as well.
Yeah,
if
this
we
is
don't
big,
die here, we're
though.
so chilly.
He's bleeding. He's still very tanky. Does get locked down with the rune prison. God, you can see that AL just want to force it. Pop Blossom comes in on the 2. Cube still tanky. Finally goes down. Monki with the Crescent Guard is going to go back in now onto Shanks. Shanks getting low. WE very, very close to turning this fight around as well. Realm Warp's going to come through there, and AL are just fine.
This is so intense. I love it because AL is like, wait a sec, guys. They're actually they're doing something. They're actually putting up a fight, and I think WE themselves isn't even really. I'll be honest, maybe it's more so Cube than WE, but it seems like they're not really used to this. I think they're not really used to being able to keep up with a team like AL here. And unfortunately, a lot of the advantageous results AL has been getting in the previous sequences have been off of the back of making picks at Big Cube. So even here, he's taking a lot of CC, but he's not dying. He could have probably just lived here, but I think he played it a bit too strangely, a bit too far forward. W forward there and everything. I think even a North American Cassante could have survived that, but it's all good.
Dang, all right,
No
all
problem.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's all, we got 3 Drakes, Mazel. We got a 0 on our team too.
True. They did lose the middle outer turret. That'll be all right, though. They can still find a defense around tier 2s. Does look like WE have turned into the meatball comp. A lot of these players are being set up when 4+ members are just surrounding each other, and AL is going to have to find a way to work around that. They have about 3 minutes on a timer until that next dragon spawns and until they got to fight. They are working on 3 items for a majority now. Tarzan already on 3 items. That's huge. No boots yet for him. But you can also see that AL has also subscribed to the meatball comp idea.
So as I analyze this scoreboard and I'm trying to think like how good are WE's chances really? I would say honestly really quite good, because the main reason that I'm saying that, Hope is not gonna have flash for the setup of this Drake. And that is a very big deal because everybody else is gonna have it except for him. So that's obviously the enemy team's 80 carry. That's a very pivotal champion of the enemy team. He's not going to have flash. The one thing that is concerning me very, very much is how Karis is still level 13. I mean, thank goodness he hits level 14, but you would never catch
A bit
me
of an XP gap.
playing with my team this much. I mean, at some point you got to do something selfish, right? You got to get some
Trying to get
XP,
his
some resources.
jungle proximity percentage up, you know? It was really low.
He's definitely doing that. It's a bit too much for his own good, but I mean, hey, we take it. It looks like he's probably building a proto belt third here, so he's kind of going. Unfortunately, looks like we're gonna have 2 mosquitoes on WE, not just 1. So I mean, it's chill
He
though.
went the Storm Razor.
You know, it is chill.
Storm Razor
don't mind
third
that,
item. That might
to
be
be
a
honest.
first.
He's gonna have a ridiculous amount of movement speed on the bright side. He's gonna have the Storm Razor plus the Fleet, which he can also proc from afar with the Rapid Fire, which, frankly, grants him movement speed. All of it, meanwhile, with a Yomu's Ghost Blade, that's 2 ways of granting him movement speed. So this Jhin is going to have pretty much 600 movement speed at all times. So that's pretty nice. I won't.
It's got to be pretty nice, you know? Well, you know what else is pretty nice? The fact that we've got this game on a knife's edge, especially with another dragon coming out in about a minute. It will be an important one for WE. It's one that they could give up if they want to, if they don't feel comfortable about the setup there. But AL has to be there, Foles.
Yeah, I'm honestly very concerned about the mid lane status right now. You've got Shanks at level 16 Actualizer Rise versus Karis as level 14 Utility Azir. You know what I mean? So this Rise is going to do way more damage than this Azir possibly can. It's going to make it extremely difficult to contest this. We've still got about 30 seconds before Hope's Flash comes up. I would really like to see them force on a Hope, if at all possible, because you're not going to get many more windows than this.
Again, this is a situation where WE could give this one away. They don't need to fight it. Right now, they're going to force the decision-making tree of AL towards the mid lane. They're going to move back, but the wave is going to be pushing in their favor, and they can move into the river if they want to. There's going to be a little bit of poke damage coming out from AL here, but WE struggling to just work their way through the slop into this pit and potentially contest this 5-on-5. Try to catch out Hope. Tarzan is going to get away at least, as he's able to use that intangible to call the pack to get away. There's Monki moving in, but he's about half health now, and these shock blasts are really hitting home.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see the usage of the top TP here get this huge shield on Cassante. Just survive until then.
Coming in, that's going to be the utilization. There's the Hound's Pursuit coming in. He's not going to get the reset on that one. AO a little bit split on their entrance, but so is WE. You see Monki trying to heal up. That's going to be the curtain call initiated. The show must go on as Tarzan is going to look for it. 4 shots, not enough. The cube tries to get him. Monki goes in. It's going to be Tarzan that steals away the dragon. He's able to deny soul from Monki and survive. Meanwhile, AL are just cutting through WE. Cube is trying to take down Tarzan, but flashes are coming through from AL as well. Hope's flash just came up. Well, guess what? He used it to get a kill, and now About is running for his life. This Jhin that's gotten so fed is still a Jhin at the end of the day, and it's a double kill for Hope.
So close, but so far.
Away.
At the end of the day. Hey, we take that? No, hey, why not? Hey, at least give us something. Okay. I mean, that's pretty nice because it's low-key going to prevent AL from starting up this Baron. But alas, Mazel, I got my hopes up. I really
We find
thought
ourselves in a
WE.
very familiar place.
And here we are once again. Same old.
I gotta see that
WE.
smite again. That smite was disgusting. Like that he literally smote as soon as he got in the pit. Like that is insane.
Yeah, it was framed perfect here from Tarzan. He quite literally smited it at like the exact execute threshold. I don't. There's no frame where it's less than 1400. That was the
And
only
he survived
frame.
for a long time. Like what?
Ridiculous. And I bet you he dies to the Infernal Soul proc, by the way, if WE gets it. So you can only imagine the butterfly effect had Monki gotten that smite. You can only imagine.
Tarzan's calling
know.
Flandre back. He's like, please, dude, I don't know what to do. I can't kill him, but I can keep him here. Flandre, please.
It's like, come on, man, what's taking so long? But, I mean, unfortunately, he dies in his case for that 1-for-1. But, yeah, alas, I really don't like this scoreboard anymore. There's nothing beautiful about it.
You don't say.
Yeah, nothing here is looking too promising. I'm trying to find some kind of silver lining. If this Jhin can get his, I believe he's going to turn this components into an Infinity Edge. He's got an extra longsword. If Jhin can get this Infinity Edge, the fights are quite playable. You also want to get the Zonias onto Karis. That'll be pretty huge. But other than that, I don't think Monki's items build into anything, Mazel. Have you ever seen a tunnel and a giant skeleton the same?
That's tough. No, why are they highlighting him? I was going to say, why does my champion, my favorite champion, not do well? Please. He had a 2.5k singular advantage over his opponent, and now it's whittled down to under 1,000. And unfortunately, they're dissecting his build, which I do find a little bit strange. And Nashor will be started up by AL, forcing the hand of WE as it's already down. Curtain call doesn't do a thing as
fast.
Tarzan smites that one away, and all 5 of WE are running for the hills.
And they've actually got a bit of a pincer here with the Rise or the Nico. They're not going to go ahead and pull the trigger there. They definitely would have had to take a pretty risky look with some kind of Realm Warp or some kind of Pop Blossom. No flash up yet on Kael, though. I mean, at this point, I don't even know what you can realistically do. I really think the only way you can possibly do anything is if a bout gets an Infinity Edge. Until then, you just do no damage. And the enemy's inventories and tools are just way better.
And some of that scaling that we mentioned and talked around so much for AL is really coming online. I mean, we're almost on 4 items now for Shanks, who's still 2 full levels above his lane opponent at this point in the game. And the gold is not going to stop raining down for AL. Baron is there. They can make all of these plays under turrets. They're at 4,000 gold up now. And we have another decision that needs to be made in about a minute's time with another dragon coming up, still on soul point for WE, but the potential to go to soul point for AL.
Yeah, so honestly, it's really difficult to contest it because the enemy team has the Baron stats, which is actually a pretty big deal. So obviously the scoreboard and the XP looks pretty daunting already, but then if you factor in the Baron stats are worth thousands of gold, by the way, and it's on all 5 champions. So to actually fight into this is practically impossible. I mean, you do have, though, I will say, Infinity Edge and Last Whisper on a bout. So maybe, just maybe, he can kill everything.
The big thing is Flandre is layering in this poke so beautifully. Look how much damage they do. Tidal Wave coming back. Bubble goes wide. That's your big tool for WE, and they're going to be forced away from the dragon. Big thing here as well. Flandre completed his 4th item. He's on Serpent's Fang now, so all these shields are going to be non-existent for WE. And it looks like AL just have their pick of the litter.
Yeah, they're able to successfully disengage that play off of Arha's Tidal Wave, but the problem is you want to do something. You don't just want to give it away.
Loses almost all of his shield instantly from the Serpent's Fang. That was the TP advantage that was gone. The dragon goes over to Tarzan. Monki with the Crescent Guard trying to buy time for his team, but they can't get him. And that is going to be Kael and Shanks getting away from that primary engage of WE as they ping towards mid lane, but there is a massive doomsday minion lane in the top side right now that they need to deal with.
Yeah, and if I'm Karis, I'm there minutes ago. I'm already level 18 because
he lost the whole wave. There was like 15 minions there.
Yes, it's been like this all game. This guy, I mean, Karis, he's been doing quite all right for himself in terms of like the earlier game, but at some point he just grouped way too much. He just stopped farming, and so he's really much weaker than is necessary here on the Azir. And again, it looks like he's probably going to group a little bit more. And the thing is that it's just, I don't see how you're ever getting back to an advantageous game state. Like, I don't even know what kind of voodoo magic you can pull to fix this. I mean, Karis needs like over 2,000 gold for his death cap, whereas Shanks is really, really close to his.
How did Tarzan get to level 18 before Shanks? That's crazy. Tarzan getting caught out here as well. He's got a 2-level advantage on Monki, but he gets very, very low. Tidal Wave going to come across. He's going to flash away. There's the curtain call, but the Pop Blossom comes through on top of the Realm Warp. Still gets Kael away. It's a neat little trick they use there as they do get away from WE's very desperate advances.
I mean, I don't know if we have any foreshadowers in the chat, but that could just be a really coded engage tool that AL might use later. The Pop Blossom Realm Warp. I'm pretty sure if you time it perfectly, you can appear right on top of them as the Pop Blossom triggers. So I quite like to see that cheeky look, but I mean, it's a bit adventurous. You know, there's no need to do anything like that, but gosh, I can only imagine that not much is going to happen for the next 60 seconds, but the 60 seconds after that is going to be pure chaos as teams set up for this Baron and the Dragon that's going to ensue thereafter. You really want to max out your inventory, max out your stats as much as you possibly can. You really want to get a base in here, if at all possible. Like if even Karis can replace this control ward with another needlessly large rod, like just anything at all. You want to be as powerful as humanly possible. The game itself is almost certainly to be decided in the next couple minutes.
And you really want to try to make up these level advantages because there's 2 level advantages across top, jungle, and mid If we take a look back at this one, beautifully used to get away. Wow.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Apparently. But yeah, I mean, AL are just using this brute force of these level advantages really, really well. Baron is coming up in about 40 seconds. Dragon's still not for another 2 minutes. But it's just poking and prodding. You just saw Zanya's completed by Shanks as well. So he'll be on 4 full items with the boots, making it 5. And it's WE just trying to keep together, have all 5 together, and find picks.
Now, I don't know if he should be classified as a bug anymore or what really evolution he's taken here, but About has definitely evolved beyond the likes of the mosquito. This guy's doing some very real damage now.
Like one of those prehistoric mosquitoes in the amber that's like 5 inches big or something.
Yeah, those are huge. He's definitely much more of one of those now.
He's slapping.
Yeah, before he was just a tiny, no bigger than your fingernail, but now he's the whole
That's
size
the growth
of
you love to see, right,
head.
fools? It's like the personal growth.
He's really
be
had
the
a
mosquito
whole
that we know
arc.
you could be.
It's taken him a while,
what's
but
this
he's
flank?
found it.
This flank? Oh my god.
No flash on Kael, and they've spotted him here. This could be huge
guys.
for WE.
What is AL going to do about this? Kael, pretty tanky here, but not tanky enough. Does switch back to his health bar and realizes how low he really is. That's going to be the curtain call used by About. See if AL can get some recompense in the mid lane with that turret. Oh my god, they just called the bluff. They just called the bluff of WE. WE were thinking about forcing the Baron. They just end up losing the entire mid lane turret because of it and completing all 5 backs.
That was exactly what not to do as WE, because now not only have you lost your mid lane tower, but you've also given up control of the Baron area. You kind of want to recall some of your characters, but not all of them there, if possible. But I guess this helps you set up for the Drake. We gotta fight.
Oh, Shanks goes gold, and he buys a lot of time here, but the Crimson Guard is huge. Shanks getting away with the blast cone with his speed. He was able to use his ghost. Hope in some trouble now. Q goes for him. That's the flash burn from the Corki. Tidal wave use. A lot of abilities are already down, and WE want to take this tempo and move it straight into a dragon contest.
Both teams on soul point. The game is definitely going to be decided.
He might get Tarzan. Tarzan gets his GA pop. That's going to be big. Pop Blossom coming in.
Foreshadowing.
He goes, there's the Realm Warp play, but it's not enough. They go straight for Shanks. They go straight for the head, and that's going to be both big members gone. Tarzan being chased down, gets flashed on by Karis, but Karis can't finish him off. Dragon is the focus for WE. Got to remember, this is Infernal Soul.
3v4 here, but I don't think AL can possibly play with this. I mean, unless Flandre can somehow hit like 2 accelerated shock blasts or something, it's cooked. This Drake is gone. But I mean, it's a 40-minute Infernal Soul that doesn't really change the nature of the fights that much. To be fair, like for example, like a 30-minute Infernal Soul is much more potent. So, I mean, it's not game ending by any means, but it really helps WE get there.
Yeah, this meatball comp is starting to get a little spicy. As you see some big picks, some really tough miscommunications from the positioning of AL there. And honestly, at this point, I'm starting to feel like what you see is what you get for WE. They are just full facing 5-on-5s and taking this moment hugely.
Yeah, that's really true. Like, honestly, WE, like, you kind of just know what to expect from them. Whereas AL, they're really all over the place. They're quite the wild card team, but typically it works in their favor.
We got one.
WE has been able to play much more clean and concise in the majority of this game than honestly AL has. So, well, I mean, except for they had a really bad throw, if I'm to recollect, but in general, WE has been doing really quite well for themselves here. AL has made many blunders. I remember Hope blowing both his thumbs and dying, Kael just then blowing both his thumbs and dying. I mean, this is uncharacteristic.
I think they just did the Pop Blossom Realm War play just to do it. It didn't do much, but it was
that
there.
Was not
all right, Baron is the play right now. AL burning down. It's like they have Infernal Soul, and they're going to take down the Baron and Realm Warp out. Tarzan unfortunately got left, and so did Hope. So that'll be a couple members that get taken down. Kael does make it away. It's going to be Baron so far. Okay, he should be able to back up. Yeah, so they'll actually get 4 Baron buffs back out of that. I think that's worth.
I mean, that was almost like the most James Bond like steal like under their nose of all time, but they did end up losing Tarzan. Let's see how costly that really is. It looks like WE really wants to force the envelope here with this Infernal Soul Jin, by the way.
They're just gonna try to end it.
He's got like 700 attack damage, just so you know.
Okay. They're feeling a little bit antsy about this one, about waving around the 4th shot here. He's not going to be able to use it to do much good. The Baron minions are so tough to cut through, and that'll be WE pulling off. They did get the inhib in mid lane, so that'll be super minions aplenty there. AL looking to make a play on the back end. Shanks is here. Tarzan not up yet, 5 seconds away. And we are going to see WE stick around for the red buff. Oh, he didn't have the vision of him, wasn't able to rune prison him, and WE will make it out alive.
Oh, I just love it. You look how many pings both teams are issuing. They're really trying to figure out what to do next. It's just so ambiguous and so complicated.
Just left
Holy
the hip to
moly,
die,
that's a
bro.
lot of minions. No way, right?
Bro, it's
Come
been
on.
happening. That's been going on for like the last 2.5 minutes, and W just refused to fight over there.
Oh, Karis just doesn't like farm. He's just allergic, man. I don't understand. He could literally have 200 more farm than this right now. But it's chill. It's low-key chill.
Okay, he makes it okay. That was
Whoa. Hey, yo, relax.
Monkey, chill.
That's
chill,
why
Monkey.
he's called Monkey. Right
All
there.
right, Hope getting
Wait, no one
taken
can
out.
block, no
One
one can
shot,
block,
two
no one
shot.
can
He's going to
block.
dodge away. One shot needs to hit. It's going to be blocked by Tarzan, who goes unstoppable there. He'll get knocked up. I think Tarzan's
Surely
life
you
is
get
just
there.
forfeit. Pop Blossom comes in. Tarzan just trying to run away. Monkey just dies. Hope ends up taking him down, and Kael will be the worthy trade. That is jungle for support.
How
And
about
Hope makes it out
Shanks?
away. Shanks has the Baron buff, and it's just pushing down bot lane.
He's got Realm Up as well. He's definitely trying to bait them towards him. He's going to probably Realm Up towards the top side of their base. Yup.
Based,
And
man.
keep doing some shenanigans here. I feel like you can high-key reach this. You've got Yomu's Jin. You've got Nami. You just got to prevent his 4-second recall. That's all you got to do. If he can fog for 4 seconds and get the recall off, it looks like he's got too much fog up there. He's going to be able to... They can't necessarily reach him. Maybe they're a bit scared of him buying enough time for his team to arrive. Maybe it's just the fact that they're 0-9 in game score and they've never been this close to winning a game, and they don't want to take any risk at all. So you're gonna let Shanks get away with that one. There. Now you've got no inhibitor towers at all. You've got just Nexus towers, Mazel. That's it.
And we are officially in the longest game of the regular split here so far in split number 2. WE really fighting tooth and nail to potentially get their first win of the season, the first game win of the season for this organization on About's birthday, which would be a heck of a birthday present for this team. But they've got a lot of ways to work and a lot of at least things to deal with here, because we got about a minute until Elder Dragon comes up for either team. It's gonna be a hotly contested objective. You can see everybody's just trying to scale up for that moment. We are hitting full item thresholds for multiple people, especially on AL's side. We do have About, who has finished his GA and everything, so he'll be at full speed, but I think the item differential might come into play here, Foles.
Yeah, I mean, and the birthday boy About is the man of the hour this game too. It's fully up to him. I mean, speaking of hour, if we're getting
Arha can't be backing like that in a crucial moment. This is a potential first game win or a series loss for WE. They need to lock in.
It's chill. He can restore a lot of HP, but it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary. This is the longest game of this series of the season. I'd like to see it go the distance, but it's probably going to come down to this.
They're going to try to force the base play here.
Look at that top wave, by the way.
A little bit caught.
That's
yeah,
three
it's
super
got
minions,
multiple
Mazel.
super minions. It could literally just win the game. It looks like AL.
Yes.
They're going to play reserve.
Oh
They're going to
my.
Karis gives up the top lane to go for a base race. TPs, or at least bases, coming in from AL. They're hoping that About can just do enough damage to the turrets, but all of AL are here as a defense. WE have fumbled this moment and need to be careful on the back end. They have to deal with the super minions, but then Elder Dragon is coming up. What do you do?
Yeah, I think you got to get Q back to the base somehow. He's got to do a full 8-second recall, clear some of these minions, TP back with the shield, but how can you control the space 4v5?
Monki's already half healthy. Shock Blasts are reigning true. They are just engaging in a 4v5 without their big tank. They're losing their Nexus towers. WE not like this. Pop Blossom comes in, gets knocked out by the Crescent Guard. That's beautifully done. He's just leaving. Yeah, you just go TP to the base. You
They're
win
gonna
the
look to
game.
end.
And WE, you have completely fumbled the moment. Flandre's looking for the
Get
back
there.
lane. Oh my God, WE just got
I don't
spun
think he
around
ends.
dizzy and just
lied.
lost the series off of an impeccable map play from AL. That is devastating, and WE will go to 0-10 on the season. AL finally back in form. Right the ship.
I really thought that was it. I really thought that was going to be the first number in the victory column. I thought they were going to do it. They had
As
so
soon
many
as
ways.
the millisecond that Cube TP'd, Flandre instantly counter TP'd. They literally crossed each other midair with TPs.
I love it. I love it. I always love doing that in solo queue, and to do that in the most respectable fashion of the longest game of the season of the LPL so far, to end like that is just spectacular.
They just got dizzy. Like
They did. They
everybody
totally
broke
did.
down. Like everybody missed their play in that moment for WE, and that's what feels the worst. Because when those clutch moments come around, you need to step up, and that was not the case for WE. But I gotta give heaps of praise to AL. They were able to weather the storm of the early game of an almost 3,000 gold league Jhin and still make it through the other side to continue their 2-0 streak in good and bad alive.
Well, what more can you say other than GG well played to both the teams here? That was a really good game. I thoroughly enjoyed watching that from start to finish because you just never knew what was going to happen next. And you became a WE believer somewhere along the way there. Of
For
course,
like
I'm
a
pretty
moment,
sure.
for a little moment.
I speak for all of us when I say that I think we kind of knew that, like, they were probably going to get cooked. So it's like the fact that they almost did it was like so entertaining. And the fact that, of course, they did was like probably the best, like that's probably the most like storied ending we could have hoped for here. But I can only empathize, you know what I mean? As a bit of a player myself, in games like that, how can you possibly communicate with such a complicated, like this is not even, like you guys thought chess was hard? How do you even figure
I'm
that
gonna
out
be a
right
little
there? Like,
critical.
what's even going on?
I won't go too far deep on W. It's a tough split already. And your group is in double round robin. You still have a ton of games to play. They went 0-6, turned it around, went 0-5. We already talked about that story. What troubles me is that top lane, man. 4 different times, there was like 20 minions pushing top lane unanswered for huge times of the game. And I think that is worrying because they're not assigning those moments correctly. And I think that's so tough to see at this level of play. But besides that, at least they gave us a little bit of hope there.
They absolutely did, but we had hope, but so did AL. And turns out AL's
They
hope
do.
was a little
He
bit
was pretty
stronger
good.
than ours. So even though, you know, their hope made a lot of mistakes, their Kael made some mistakes that, honestly, I'm pretty sure all of them did. I even remember Tarzan randomly dying when he didn't have to. You know, things like this. Oh, you know what I just remembered? If Monki smites, I think it was the 5th. Was it the 5th Drake? Maybe it was the 6th one, where Tarzan gets the frame perfect E-smite over the pit. You can only imagine the timeline we'd be in right now. We might be already back from break going into game 3.
It's true.
But instead, we just had the longest game of the series, of the season. So, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I'll take it. You know, we got to have a little bit of fun,
bad.
and it's still an early night for us. So, you know, that works out because I have to leave for work in like 2 hours. So,
Yeah. Ever since the LPL, they set it back like 3 extra hours?
yeah.
For
2
guys like
extra
us
hours.
here in North America, bit of a debuff, not gonna lie, but hey, all good though. We got to see some cinema, and if I'm just gonna have some final words on that game before we start to, I mean, I think we're not gonna get to see the MVP maybe, right? Because it's gonna be an interview, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but we do get to see the post game stats at least.
So we'll get to see that. But one thing I do just want to say, as you know, the Azir guy is, you gotta take some resources, man. Like you're talking about how all those top waves are stacking up. I mean, bro was like he didn't even hit level 16 until like minute 35. So, I mean, you're probably going to want to reevaluate that somewhere. But that's all I'm going to say, man. That's all I'm going to say.
But for AL, I still think Tarzan deserves a little bit of a kind of monocle look at some of the position he had in that game, but he was able to turn it around and, you know, put his body on the line for a lot of the moments. The smite kind of erased all the bad moments, but I think as a whole, you know, Flandre finally got to show off a bit. I mean, obviously all the poke damage that was coming down from the accelerated shock blast were so integral to the pressure that AL was putting around objectives. I think Kael had some missed pop blossoms, but his impact, the threat of the impact of the pop blossom was always so important. And I think that's the thing for me for AL here is they just utilized the thought processes of WE really well, right? Like Tarzan was literally just mind melting Monki in the early game with his pathing, taking away little things here or there and just being a nuisance. And they just continued to use that really well on the map. And I always feel like that has been something that AL has done well in their highest moments. And it's nice to see them kind of return to that fact, even against an opponent that they should have beat this badly. And even that last game going the distance, right? That gives me a little bit of worry for AL, but they were still able to close it out. And I think it comes through a holistic team effort throughout the series as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Going into the series, we really wanted to see that AL would just handedly prove that they're the superior team and that they're going to get back on track after the 4-game loss streak. But they were able to get themselves a 2-0 here tonight. But this definitely did not satisfy that expectation of AL being one of those S-tier teams in the league, you know? Like, I think that they've really been having some hiccups, some struggles. We got to see a lot of those in this game. So they definitely have a lot to work on if they're going to want to rival the likes of BLG and honestly the likes of some of these other teams we've been seeing the rise of, and namely JDG, you know? So it's going to be a tough group of Send, and I'm really liking what we're seeing here. The fact that even WE can take AL the distance like this.
Yeah. Now, if we are talking, obviously we won't get to see the MVP, but if we are talking about MVPs for game number 2 and for the series itself, what are you sitting with?
Well, for series itself, it's absolutely got to be Tarzan, just because of that game 1 performance and because he's honestly coming to mind for game 2 as well here. I mean, it's honestly a lot of it off of the back of that smite. It's just so clutch and so many things that he's doing. Moment. Really, really well played. But in this game 2, I actually think the MVP's got to be Flandre. I mean, he did 50k damage that game when no one else did even like 30k, I'm pretty sure. So he was like, as you said, those shock blasts were hitting home. Like, he was absolutely terrorizing some of these back lines or even these front lines. Like, he was just doing ridiculous amounts of poke damage as this Jace. So he was putting in absolute work, and he was even the reason they were able to win the game. You know, of course, when your top laner goes into TP and end the game like that, everyone's kind of aware. He's the one doing the clicking, but it's kind of like a team play, so to speak.
This right here,
you know?
bro.
Yeah.
And then
as you said, man,
is you watch the rest of W. Okay, they're not going to show it. They literally like lose their mind in that moment, which is understandable because like, oh crap, we're about to lose the game. As yeah, I don't know. Feel bad for Cube because I think a lot of the blame's going to come on him. I think just in general, WE just had tough macro across the board.
I mean, I will say, Mazel, I've gotten to cast WE a fair few times, and frankly, Cube has been looking not so hot. Like, I remember I got called out on Twitter for saying that I thought Cube was like a similar level player of 369, and ever since I said that, I have just been completely proven otherwise. Like, bro just completely changed my mind.
When you told me that, I did warn you. I was like, I don't know about that.
And
but hey,
we are fully past that perspective, I will say. Genuine change my mind speedrun from Cube, and that's that. I don't know what to say, but it's so complicated, right? Like, in a game like that, it's so nuanced. It's so like, how on earth like can you possibly piece together the exact optimal macro with all the teleports, all the kits that are going on here, and all the crazy different variables and factors. So I think AL is obviously way more experienced in that realm of being in these confusing spots and knowing some clever ways to, as you say, melt the minds of your opponents. And quite frankly, that's what they did. So we just got to see that extra experience come into play. And if I'm gonna end off my my speech for tonight's cast, I guess you could say that WE how do you say, they didn't have enough XP.
Jesus. All right, I like it. Next up is the one that everybody's been waiting for. Top Esports versus BLG, a battle of two potential top favorites in split number 2. We have Yanni and Quacks coming in for that series, and it is going to be a banger. So stick around, check it out, go get some hydration, and get ready for our second series.